Hi, Nate Schulte here again with another episode of Discovering Battles with Nate. We are actually going to be talking about the Battle of the Cowpens. Now, the reason why it was called the Battle of the Cowpens because it took place in a cow pen. It was a pasture area where before the war and before this battle took place that cattle barons would actually, raise their cattle. Now, for the model here that I did, the Civil War guys here are the Continental Army, while these green guys are pretty much the militiamen, and the tan color are the British, and Tarleton's headquarters, or Tarleton's position was right here, while Colonel William Washington's cavalry division, and they will also be taking part of that pretty soon. But the battle took place in January 1781, and some of the major figures or leaders in the battle are Banastre Tarleton, who was a British cavalry officer. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to find out what his rank was, but he was an officer. I'm willing to bet he was a colonel. A fact about him is that the man in The Patriot, the character Tavington, is actually is based upon, or is the basis of Tarleton. Now, Tarleton was a little barbaric because the British blamed him for killing a lot of American POWs, so he was a little on the barbaric side. However, most of the other officers are Colonel William Washington, as I just recently stated, and the man who was in command of the militia was General Daniel Morgan. Now, Daniel Morgan had been fighting in the Revolutionary War for quite some time. He was a victorious figure at the victory of Saratoga, which took place prior to this battle. And the strength was that there was about 1,000 men that were militia, and another 500 were Continental men, while the regular British Army had about 1,200 to 1,500. Now, this battle only took place for about an hour, so it was almost 1 hour of fighting. And now we will go to the model. As you can mainly see, the militia are right around here, but really they were stationed or positioned right here. And what happened was Tarleton sent an infantry division to take out the militia after the cavalry division failed. You see, he sent a cavalry division first to try and destroy the militiamen, but the militia were able to drive them back, and when the cavalry division failed, Tarleton sent some men to try and take care of the militia, as I just recently stated. What eventually ended up happening was the militiamen fired about 3 shots each, and then they were going to rally around, or they were pretty much pretending to retreat, when really it was a trap. You see, what happened was the British thought that, well, since they're retreating, well, why don't we go in and try and take prisoners and stuff? And what ended up happening was, as the British advanced, they ended up in with the Continental Army, and it was a hailfire of fire, pretty much. Hailfire of musket balls, and what ended up happening afterwards was that they fell right into the trap, and while the militia, they advanced to take out the British here, and then another group took out the cavalry division. Tarleton tried to rally his men in the field, but there was a cavalry division in reserve that did not charge when he ordered it because there was no fight left in him. And what Colonel Washington did was he rode his men all the way over here. With that, the British were panicky. And panicking and being scared like that is not very good in battle. Because if you become panicky while in the middle of a battle, you're pretty much already defeated. Because you can't think straight. If you're panicky, you're too scared to even think. So, Tarleton realized that his men were panicking and there was no fight left in his cavalry division, so he ordered the retreat. And eventually they ended up retreating, and it was ordered. The casualties for this battle were 12 men were killed in action for the Patriots, while another 60 were wounded. The British, however, suffered 100 casualties. 100 men were killed. 829 were wounded, and the strangest thing about that is that 600 of those men were actually taken prisoner of war. Now, this battle was a morale booster for the Americans, for the Patriots, because even after the defeat of Kings Mountain, which was our last episode, pretty much boosted the morale. If we can defeat the British regulars, well then we're pretty much going to win this war. And what happened was the British decided, well, since they lost the Loyalists over at Kings Mountain and we lost the Battle of the Cowpens, we're not going to fight or put our efforts into this war anymore. And that was pretty much the end of this battle. And what happened, or my sources for this video are, these two have already been featured in the previous episodes, but another one will be Come to the Cowpens by Catherine R. Swagger, and also Battle of the Cowpens, a documented narrative and troop movement maps by Edwin C. Bears. I sure hope you enjoyed this episode and learning about the Battle of the Cowpens. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, click subscribe, and also don't forget to comment in the comment section and leave me any questions you might have about this battle. Thank you.